Okay, so I cried a lot. Alright, so I would have shot this last night, but frankly it was like midnight and I was coming home on the bus and I really didn't feel like talking to a camera in the middle of a somewhat empty bus where people would have stared at me and thought I was weird. One woman already asked me, "What's the name of that strange movie? All these girls came out crying." This is my reaction to The Fault in Our Stars. Also a little bit of a book to movie comparison because, I mean, you can't not. I can't not. So one of the benefits about living in a city as big as Washington, D.C. is that there are these theaters that are like nationally, not nationally ranked, but like there's a chain called AMC here, which I had never heard of until I moved here, and they were participating in what is called The Night Before Our Stars, which was a screening of The Fault in Our Stars, based on the novel by John Green of the same name. And it's a screening of the movie at 8:30 the night before opening day for the film. And there was a Q&A session afterward and some live performances of music and an extra opportunity to see a deleted scene from the film featuring John Green himself. So since I live in Washington, D.C., it made it possible for me to go to that, so I did, and it was fantastic. Firstly, though, I want to talk about the film. I personally felt that it was very faithful to the book, and John Green has been saying it ever since he was heavily involved with the production, that this movie is so faithful to the book, and he had a really large hand in the screenwriting and the production of the movie. He was on set every day, or at least most of the days, and I think they did an excellent job taking his story and adapting it to something for the screen. The movie is basically 2.5 hours, so it's a little bit lengthy, and I was reading a review of it before I went, and the reviewer actually said that it could have been better if it were just a little bit shorter. And there was a point in the movie where I was sitting there going, "Wow, this is still going on, and I know exactly how much we have left, and unless they shorten it up, we're gonna be here all night." And I think that's fine. I know when it comes to the adaptations of the Harry Potter films, I would have far preferred to sit through 4 or 5 hour films than what we got. But in this case, I think they did a really good job about editing what needed to be there and what didn't. However, it was still rather lengthy. If you're unfamiliar somehow with the plot of The Fault in Our Stars, I will leave a link in the description to the Goodreads page for the book, which you should definitely read before you see the film. There were so many direct lines that were taken straight out of the book, so many book quotations that they put into the film, and I was really glad to see that, because there are just moments between Hazel and Augustus that I don't think you can have without the exact dialogue that John gives them. Speaking a little more to that, you all know how I enjoy John Green's strong, intelligent teenage characters. I think I've probably said that at least 10 times on this channel. But at the same time, I'm also secretly, and I choose to put this at the back of my mind and not think about it, I'm still secretly really upset with the fact that he makes them sound more teenagery than they actually are sometimes. Many people have said that in the film and in the book, Augustus Waters sounds very pretentious and wouldn't actually speak like that. But the point of Augustus Waters is that he is pretentious and he does speak like that. But I think the great thing about bringing a book like this to life is that you can still keep that high level of intelligence between your two characters, but the fact that you're using actors who are approximately the same ages as those characters and speak in a traditional daily colloquial way, they can sort of humanize their character a little bit more and personify, obviously, in person with day-to-day language, and add, toss a word "like" in there a few times where you wouldn't normally put it in a book because it looks bad or it sounds bad, or add like an "oh my god" or something to make it sound like these actually are teenage kids rather than younger personifications of intelligent adults. Then again, that's what a lot of teenagers are, but you get what I'm saying. I personally have a lot of feelings about Shailene Woodley as an actress, and I think she has a very distinctive way of speaking and a very distinctive face and a very distinctive manner. And I like her. I think she's really good at what she does, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to separate her from Hazel, and I wouldn't be able to see Hazel in her, and she wouldn't be able to make Hazel real. But in the end, she did a very excellent job with the whole thing, and she made me believe that she was this teenage girl struggling with this horrible disease and falling in love and trying to figure out how to do both at the same time, and I just want to applaud her for that. Even the musical selections in this film really seemed appropriate. I know a few people who like to listen to music while they read, and I'm not one of those people that can really do that, but I'm always intrigued as to whether films are going to find someone to write a score for them, or they're going to use popular music or have music commissioned for the film. And I wasn't really sure about a lot of the songs in this film and how they were going to fit in, and whether it was going to flow or whether it was going to seem like we were just adding popular music for the sake of adding popular music. And it worked. Everything worked. There was discussion on this actually in the Q&A session afterward at the Night Before Our Stars. One of the audience members asked the director, how did you choose the music for the film? And he said, well, this is the music I like. And he handed it to their music supervisor and said, go through, here's my iTunes, pick what you like, and we'll work with that. And I guess she did that, and they picked out a lot of really great songs, and obviously had some really talented people perform some for the film, and it really worked. I'm always skeptical of music, and I have to say that the music in this film definitely complemented the book. To follow that with one last thing, I think a lot of people are very excited to see this film. I was very excited to see this film. I listened to the book last week to prepare for it and get ready to have all the details in the back of my mind about what to be looking for and what to expect again. But I also think a lot of people, as any good reader is, will be skeptical about what will be cut and what will be changed and how they will make the story progress. I haven't mentioned any of those changes because I don't want to spoil it, but there is always that fear in book-to-movie adaptations, into my heart, that like book-to-movie adaptation strikes great fear in me. Those words do it. But I really think that this book adds, if you can add any more, adds more weight to John Green's words than it does take his words and manifest them into something else. John Green's concepts about oblivion and the fear of that and what will become of us after, how we will die, and legacy, and all of these really poignant, heady issues that each one of his pieces of writing has touched upon in the past are all incredibly thought-provoking and important to think about. And many times in book-to-movie adaptations, that's one of the first things to get cut. It's internal monologue from characters, which gives you really great insight into the rest of the plot, as well as a deep, thought-provoking concept. And none of that is lost in this film. Somehow, Josh Boone and all of the cast and the producers and everyone who was involved with this managed to make everything come across the same way that it has in the book. And I don't say that as a crazed fan. I say it because I sat there and watched the movie and sort of gave a lot of side-eye to some screaming 8-year-old girls. But I sat there, and the film affected me the same way that the book did, in all of the same places. And it wasn't just because there were characters crying on screen, or there were about 200 other people crying around me. It was because the story that I was told, while similar to the story I was expecting, was told by other people in such a way that it greatly reflected the text that I already respected. And seeing the dramatization and personification of characters that I loved by people who cared about them probably as much as I do, or anyone does, was a very nice, refreshing change and excellent to watch. Just like I gave the book 5 out of 5 stars, I also would give this film 5 out of 5 stars. If you follow us on Twitter, you know that I was tweeting crazily during the night, not to any of the Ask TFiOS hashtags, because frankly I'm just afraid of having anyone know what I think about anything ever, which is why I put things on the internet. But my point here is that if you follow us on Twitter, you realize that Alton Brown from Good Eats and various other food-related television works and his own podcast and other fantastic things, was the host of the live Q&A and the whole post-show discussion last night. So not only was this the first movie that I had ever seen by myself, but I was also the oldest person in the theater who was not the parent of a child, and I think I might have been one of few people who like really knew who Alton Brown was and reveres him as a specimen of human intellect. So Alton Brown's face came on the screen after the film was over, and took me a minute to realize that I was the only one cheering for him, and everyone else was just cheering for the start of the question and answer session. But that's a different story. Alton Brown was there. It was great. And I assume it would be rude of me if I didn't show you the swag. So really quickly before I go, we all got this cute little bracelet with a little star that says The Fault in Our Stars with the date of the film. Actually, it's the date of The Night Before Our Stars on there, 6/5/14. So that's super cute. We also got these posters, which are not legitimately signed by the actors and John, but their signatures are printed on there somehow, and it's super cute. It's just Hazel and Gus sitting on the swing set. It was lovely. So that was The Night Before Our Stars. If you have the chance to go see The Fault in Our Stars and have read the book, I highly recommend it. It is a great adaptation. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on whether or not you liked the film and what you think about the job they did putting the whole thing together. Hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives, and I will see you soon with a new review. If for some, oh my god, this is why we need screens on my windows. Birds.